Hi, my name is Nathan. You're watching Nice at Dice, and today I am going to be playing this game, Unmatched, specifically the Jurassic Park set. There's multiple sets for this game with different themes. If you're not familiar with Unmatched, it's basically a game for two players if you have one of these small sets, or if you get some of the other sets, you can go up to 4 players. So 2 to 4 players. You're basically each taking a character. In this case, you're playing either the Raptors or the character Muldoon from Jurassic Park, the first movie. And you're going head to head against each other. It's a really cool game. It's a neat game system. There's other sets. For example, I think here's the kind of the first set that came out, Heroes of Legend or Battles of Legends, and it had Medusa, King Arthur, Alice, and Sinbad. So just to give you an idea, kind of some of the variety in the game. There's also another set that has like Sherlock Holmes and Jekyll and Hyde and other characters, right? So lots of different interesting characters from literature, from legend, etc. And you just take a character and you go head to head. Lots of card play involved, and moving your characters around on the board and so forth. So the game is designed for 2 to 4 players, but there is a fan-made expansion that allows you to play solo. I've been trying that out this week. Played maybe about half a dozen times with a few different characters. So I'm gonna do that again tonight. Just figured I would share that with you. This is the first time I'm playing with any of the Jurassic Park characters, so that'll be kind of cool. I'm gonna kind of walk you through a little bit of how the game works as we play, though I imagine if you're watching this, you're probably already familiar with Unmatched at least a little bit. And I'll also be explaining a little bit how the solo mode works, because you may not be familiar with that. There will be a link in the description of this video to where you can find this fan-made expansion online. If that's interesting to you, you can go look it up yourself. But we'll go right into it. All right, so again, if you're not familiar with Unmatched, this is kind of a typical setup. You have a board about this size or a little bit bigger if you have one of the larger 4-player sets. And I have 3 Raptor miniatures over here. They start out on this end of the board. And the solo expansion has you going up against a generic villain called the Villain. I had this little miniature handy, so I am using that for the Villain. And the cards are all printed out, on my home printer, and just sleeved with a deck of regular cards to give them some heft. And this basically functions sort of like a deck for any of the other characters, right? So in the game, each character has their miniature or miniatures and a deck of cards, and then these little dials that you use to track the health of the characters, and a reference card that gives you some basic stats about the character. So you have pretty much the same thing for the Villain. You have a deck of cards that they're going to use to play. I have this 20-sided dice that I'm using to track their health. They start out with 20 health in this particular game. They have a basic, card with their stats and their basic abilities on it. You have a couple of cards here that sort of modify the villain for this particular game. So in this case, this version of the villain is the supportive and big. This just changes. The big just means he starts out with more HP. That's why he has 20 HP. Normally it'd be 16. The supportive means that the boost value of his cards is higher. So if you are familiar with Unmatched, you know what the boost value is. If not, I'll get into it a little bit later as we sort of go through the game. So at the beginning of the game, you have your deck of cards for the villain. You just discard the top card of the deck. That's only important because there's a number of times in the game where pretty much on a regular basis you'll be referencing the boost value of the card. That's this little number over here in the corner, and you'll be referencing the boost value of the top card of its discard. So you always have to have 1 card discarded to begin with. And then I have 5 cards over here. This is his hand. So when he plays a card, he'll always play the top card of the stack. Okay? So we'll get right into it. Basically, on your turn, you have 3 actions that you can do. You can take any 2 actions from your 3 options. You can take the same action twice if you want. So your 3 actions are basically, you can maneuver, which lets you draw 1 card. Oh, and I should have a hand of 5 cards to start out with. All right, so if you maneuver, you draw a card, and then you move each of your guys, in this case, 3 spaces, up to 3 spaces, right? That's maneuvering. You can play a scheme card, which I don't have any scheme cards at the moment, but a scheme card would have a yellow banner in the top left corner there with a little lightning bolt symbol. Okay, so if you have any of those in your hand, you can play one of those as an action. And then finally, you can attack. Attacking means playing one of these cards that either has a red banner with this little burst icon or a purple banner with an icon that's like half of this burst and half of this shield. Okay, so you're going to play one of those cards to attack somebody. Some characters can attack at range. In this particular game, all the characters we're dealing with have melee attacks, so they can only attack each other if they're adjacent. All right, so the human player goes first in a solo game. So we're going to play our raptors, and we got to decide, what do I want to do? So here's the cards that I have. As you can see, I have 4 attack cards and a defense card. And again, I've never played with the raptors before, so I'm not 100% sure what all the best strategies are. It'll be interesting as I watch this, or as you watch this. If you have any tips for me, I'd love to hear them in the comments. But we'll get going. I know I can't attack unless I'm adjacent, so to start with, we'll maneuver. So I'll draw 1 card, add it to my hand, and I can move each of my guys 3 spaces. So I'm move this guy 1, 2, 3. This board has, right, so you have these spaces, these big circles, you're moving between them along the black lines. This particular board has these orange arrows that point in one direction. These are paths you can move across, but you can only move across them in that direction. All right. I'll move that guy there. I can move this guy 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to move this guy 1, 2, 3. All right. I don't know if this is a good strategy or not. I'm just getting all my guys in to attack quick as I can. All right, so that was my first action. I think for my second action, so what I'm kind of contemplating now is he's also a melee fighter, so he's going to want to move up to me and attack. And I think I'd rather him not get in 2 attacks on his first turn. So I want him to have to use 1 action to move up to me and then his second action to attack. So while I could, well, all right, so here's another thing I could do. And I should have thought about this earlier, but it's not too late to make this adjustment if I want to. Yeah, let's do this. All right. So along with maneuvering, which is, again, drawing a card, moving my guys, I'm going to discard this card to boost. All right, this one to boost. All right, so this has this boost value of 2. So I'm discarding that. And it lets me move all of my guys 2 extra spaces. All right, so I've already moved them 3 each. So I could move this guy 1, 2. And instead of moving this guy here, I could have moved him here. So then he could go to there. That'd be his last movement. And then this guy can go 1, 2. All right. Okay, so now for my first action, I've managed to get all my guys up next to that guy. So now I can make an attack. So where do I want to make my attack? What card do I want to use? All right, so I'm going to use this card, and I'm going to use this character. Right, so this character is attacking the villain, and I'm going to use this card. It has an attack value of 4, and it has something that happens after combat, but we'll see how that goes. Okay, I have my attack value of 4. The raptors have a special ability that when a raptor attacks, they get +1 to the value of their card for each other raptor adjacent to the person you're attacking. So this is actually a value of 6 right now. We're going to take the top card from the villain. I'm going to flip that over and see what its value is. So it has a value of 2, and it has something that gets resolved after combat. But we'll just go ahead and resolve this. So 6 minus 2 is 4, so he's going to lose 4 of his health. He was at 20, so he'll drop down to 16. All right, and the defender resolves their after combat ability first. So this one says draw 2 cards. Your opponent discards 1 card, so he's going to draw 2 cards here. I'm going to have to discard 1 card. Yeah, let's go with this one. Okay, and then says after combat, move your raptor to any other space in her zone. Okay, so a zone is, you can see these spaces all have like a different color / pattern in them. All the spaces that share a color and pattern are considered part of a zone. All right, so she just attacked. She can move anywhere else in the zone. I'll put her right here. All right. Okay, so that's it for my turn. I did 2 actions. I moved and I attacked. Okay, so now the bad guy is going to go. So the bad guy has a kind of like a flowchart of sorts that tells you what they're going to do. And that's in this little booklet here. That's also part of the fan expansion. So the first action, you want to check if they are adjacent or not adjacent. They are adjacent. So then you want to look at how many cards they have. If they have 2 or more, then they're going to attack. So that's what he's going to do. So he is going to attack, and his choice of who he attacks is based on, first of all, a hero adjacent to them. Ties go to the hero with the lowest remaining health. They all have the same health. Yeah, so that's basically it. So we'll just pick one. We'll go with the one that he just attacked, because I guess that makes some sense. So he's attacking with this card. Now I got to decide if I can defend, which I can, and I might as well. So this one says immediately choose one of your other undefeated raptors. You may place her adjacent to the opposing fighter. Well, all my raptors are already adjacent, so I'm not going to worry about moving anyone. And he is attacking with 3. And it says during combat, boost this card. All right, so here again, we're looking at the boost value of the top card here, which is 2. So he's got a 3 plus 2 is 5 against my 3. So she's going to take 2 damage. And that puts her at 5 health. So discard that card, discard this card. Now he's going to get a second action. All right, so again, we're going to look at this chart real quick. We see for subsequent actions after the first action. Is he adjacent? He is. He has 3+ cards, so he's going to attack again. So this time I don't have any cards with which to defend. He always attacks the person with the lowest HP, so he'll go after that same one. He attacks with 2. And during combat, if the opposing fighter is a hero, this card's value is 6 instead. So wow, he is attacking with 6. I have no defense. Definitely took her out. Okay. One of my raptors is gone. Well, it's not a great start. Let's see what happens in our next round. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and maneuver to draw a card. All right. Okay, and then I'll attack. So I'm going to attack with this card. And it gets +1 because we'll assume this guy's attacking, right? I've got a 4 here on my attack value, and something that resolves after combat. He's going to defend with this. He's defending with 2. Says immediately cancel all effects on your opponent's cards. All right, well, that kind of is lame because I had a good effect on that card. But it's still 3 versus 2, which actually 4 versus 2, which means 2 damage. Brings him down to 14. All right. Okay, and that is going to be that. All right, so now he's up. He is adjacent. He has plenty of cards here. So he's going to attack again. We'll just have him attack the person he just fought, or who just attacked him. I have no cards that are defense cards, so I just got to take whatever he throws at me. Okay, so 3, 4. Actually, it's going to be 5. That's going to leave her with only 2 hit points left. Okay, and for subsequent action, what we're looking at is adjacent, yes. 0 to 2 cards, maneuver away. All right, so that's where he's at. He's only got 2 cards, so he's going to try and maneuver away. So he's going to grab 1 card to maneuver with. His movement is 2, and it's boosted by the boost value of this card on the top of his discard, which is 3. Actually 4 because of this ability. So he is he can move up to 6 spaces. So basically he's going to try and get as far away from my guys as he can, moving 6 spaces. All right, so what's the farthest he can go? He can go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But this person coming around this direction would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think he'd probably end up here. That's like as far as he can go without coming back around closer, right? All right, so that's where he goes for his second action. Okay, so back to me. All right, well, I'm going to have to maneuver. So, okay, I drew a defense card. That might help me. And let's see. I can move everybody 3 spaces. Well, I'll just move him 1, or her 1. And let's see, it's the same either direction, really. So I guess we'll move her. 1, 2, 3. Is it worth boosting to get a little closer? I don't think so. I don't think it's really worth it at this point. So, all right, so we'll just go with an attack. She's going to attack him. We're going to use this card. He's going to defend with this. Okay, it says during combat, your opponent discards 1 random card and add its boost value to this card's value. All right, well, it still just brings it up by 1, so we're looking at 3 and 3 for the defense. And then after combat, deal 2 damage to each opposing fighter adjacent to your fighter. All right, so she gets hit back for 2, leaving her at 5. All right, well, not great. Back to him. So he is adjacent, but he only has 1 card, so he's going to maneuver away. So his maneuvering is 4 this time. So let's see, how far can he get away with 4? He can go 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe, right? That'd be pretty far away. And she would go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no. Let's see. Okay. So the closest, all right. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay. So I think that's where he would go. That's the farthest he can go. And it's also an equal distance from her, regardless of which direction she goes. He would have drawn a card. Okay, so then for his second action, if he is not adjacent and he only has 2 cards, he's going to maneuver away again. He can't get any further away, but he would draw another card. All right, so that's where we're at now. Okay, so then I'm going to have to maneuver, draw another card. Okay, so this is one of these versatile cards. It can be either attack or defense. Okay. And I can move 3 spaces, so let's do that. 1, 2, 3. And let's see. Okay, she, because of all these one-way paths, she can't get out of there unless she goes out this way. So 1, 2, 3. You know what? I don't know if, let's see, 1, 2, She was here. I think I'll just leave her there. Yeah, I'm just going to hold back for a bit. I'm going to maneuver again. Trying to build up my hand, basically. All right, so this is a what is called scheme cards, right? Got a yellow banner here. Doesn't show up too great on camera, but that's what it is, yellow banner. And it says working things out. Move each of your raptors up to 3 spaces. You may move them through spaces containing opposing fighters. Gain 1 action. Ooh, that's pretty good. Okay. All right, that's a good card. So I maneuvered once, and I maneuvered again, but I haven't actually moved my guys for the second maneuver. Do I want to move my raptors? I don't think so. I think I want to keep some distance between them and the villain for now. So we'll just sit there, and now it's the villain's turn. So the villain has enough cards that they're going to want to move towards my raptors now. So they can move 4 spaces. So they could go, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or they could go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Or they could go 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So basically they could end up in either of these 2 spots. Okay. Well, they would choose this spot because no, actually they can't get adjacent to this person who's the lowest. So I'm going to say they're going to go this way. That's probably the smarter move for them to go, because then they don't end up in the area that's hard to get out of. All right. And that means their second action is going to be an attack. So they're going to attack her. Well, I'm definitely going to defend. Okay. Attacking with 3. Defending with 3. Nothing happens. Except it says immediately choose one of your other undefeated raptors. You may place her adjacent to the opposing fighter. So let's do that. Let's move her there. Kind of get him in a pincer maneuver there. All right. And this one says after combat, draw 2 cards. This effect cannot be canceled. All right. So now it's back to me. All right. Well, I have 2 actions available to me. So I think I'll start with this attack. I'm basically attacking with 6 here because I have the 2 raptors and the card says 5. Okay, so that's what I'm attacking with. And we'll say who's attacking. We'll say she's attacking. All right, and they are going to defend with 2 defense and something that happens after combat. So we'll resolve the combat first. 6 minus 2 is 4, brings him down to 10 hit points, and then after combat, your hero recovers 2 health. It brings him back up to 12. Place your hero on your starting location, which is right here. Yeah, that's basically it. Okay. All right, so that was my first action. Okay, so since that was my first action, let's go ahead and do this for my second action. Wait, do I want to do that from? Yeah. No, I don't know that I actually want to do that for my second action. Let's just maneuver for my second action. Okay. So I draw a card. I'm going to move her 3 spaces. So 1, 2, 3. And okay, I'll leave her where she's at. All right. Okay, next up is him. So He is not adjacent. He has plenty of cards, so he's going to want to move closer. And he's going to try and go for the person who, the hero who has the lowest HP, which is her. And he can move 4. So 1, 2, 3 will put him adjacent to her. And then he's going to attack, and I'm going to defend with this card. All right, so let's see what happens here. Defending with 4. And he's attacking with 2. All right, so I've successfully defended. This one says, after combat, if you won the combat, deal 1 damage to 1 adjacent opposing fighter. So hit him for 1, brings him down to 11. And his thing is, if you played this card as an attack, gain 1 action, otherwise recover 1 health. Well, he did play it as an attack, so he gains an action. Okay. So he's going to do the same thing again, try and attack her. I'm going to defend with this card, which says immediately cancel all effects on your opponent's card. All right, so 2 for 2, doesn't make any difference. Okay, all right, that was pretty good round for me. Now I'm just stuck with only 1 card, and it's a scheme card, so I don't have anything to attack with. So I'm gonna have to draw a card. All right. Okay. All right, sure, why not? Let's go for it. So I'm going to attack with this. Has an attack value of 2. Has an effect after combat, so we'll see if I get to resolve that. This is actually bumped up to 3 because I've got another raptor adjacent. And who's attacking? We'll go with this one. All right, he's going to defend with this card. Okay, so 3 and 3, same thing. During combat, if you played this card as a defense, boost this card twice. Doesn't matter because he already had matched my attack. And then it says, mine says after combat gained an action, so I have 1 action. And that was my first action, so nope, that was my second action. Okay, so I still have 1 action. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to play this card. Working things out, move each of your raptors up to 3 spaces. You may move them through spaces containing opposing fighters and then gain 1 action. It says up to 3 spaces. I'm not actually going to move them at all. I'm just going to... Well, no, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, I'm going to move them. All right, so we'll move 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. All right, and I gain an action, which I'll use to maneuver. All right, so I got another card, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, no, 2, 3. All right. Very good. Okay. No, I'll stop here. Yeah, go. Makes sense. All right. Okay. Interesting. Okay. And that is it for me. So now it's back to him. So he only has, he's not adjacent, and he only has 1 card. So he is going to maneuver away. So I'm going to draw a card. He can move up to a whole bunch of spaces, but he's only going to move as far as he can go and still be moving farther away. So let's kind of see, like 1. All right, what's the closer one? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Any of these would be 5. All right, so any of these would be 6 spaces away from my guy, basically. So just move him to there. All right, so that was his first action. His subsequent action will be to do the same thing. Just draw a card and maneuver, but he can't get any farther away than he is. All right. Okay, so now back to me. I'm going to maneuver. All right, I drew 4 cards. I drew a card with 4 attack. It has a special after combat. If you won the combat, deal 1 damage to the opposing fighter for each of your raptors adjacent to them. Okay. All right, so that's not a bad card. Okay, so that was one action. I drew a card, but I also move with that action if I want. So do I want to move anyone closer? I can move up to 3. 1, 2, 3. Well, I don't know that I really want to get closer. I think I'd rather leave it up to him to close the gap. So I'll just draw another card. And you know, the only thing I might want to change is I'll move these guys up here. Okay. The reason I'm doing that is I'm trying to create a situation where when he comes to get me, he'll end up adjacent to both of my raptors. All right, because that helps me out. Okay, so that's it for me. Now it's up to him. He has 3 cards, so he's going to maneuver closer. So he can go really far if he wants. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? I think that makes the most sense. He could have gone 1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of questionable if that's better for him. I don't know. These one-way paths kind of complicate things. Let's see. Well, who would he be trying? He'd be trying to get next to her. So you know what? While I was moving my guys around, I could have manipulated it like that. And then he definitely would have gone there. So we'll go with that, right? Because if I had been thinking ahead, I could have done that. Oh wait, no, I had it right. He would be trying to get next to her. So that works out. All right, cool. So that was his first action. Second action, he's going to attack. I have 1 card to defend with, so I will defend with this card. He is going to attack with this card. All right, so we're going 4 for 4. After combat, so we resolve mine first because I'm defending. After combat, if you won the combat, which I did because I at least matched his value. So if I won the combat, deal 1 damage to 1 adjacent opponent. So I'll do that. Knock him down to 10. All right, and then his thing after combat, if you played this card as a defense and you won the combat, he did. He wasn't defending, he was attacking. So, all right, that is that. Now it's back to me. So, definitely want to attack. All right, so I'm going to attack with this card. This is going to be 5 because I've got an extra raptor adjacent to him. And I'll just say I'm attacking with her. He's going to defend. All right, so it's my 5 versus his 3. Okay, nice. So I hit for 2 damage, takes him down to 8. Where's the 8 on here? Let's see. There we go. All right, and after combat, he's the defender, so he resolves his after combat first. Draw 2 cards, so gets 2 cards. And my after combat, if you won the combat, deal 1 damage to the opposing fighter for each of your raptors adjacent to them. So knock him down to 6. Okay. Well, he's got me down to 5 and 2, and I've got him down to 6. So we're pretty even at the moment. And that was my first action. So what is next? I think I'll maneuver. Right, so I drew another attack card. I can move each of my guys 3 spaces. So let's go for that. Where do I want to move them exactly? Okay, he's still going to be targeting her. So I want to set it up so that if he moves adjacent to her, he'll be adjacent to her as well. So let's try and make that happen. Okay, she can move 1, 2, 3. And then she can move 1. Okay, so that way he can come up this way and get adjacent to her, which is what his AI is going to tell him to do. And he'll be falling into my trap there. All right. It seems a little tricky, but I mean, they're raptors, so they're smart like that. All right. And so now it's his turn. So he has enough cards, basically. He's going to want to advance. He's going to draw another card for maneuvering, and he's got enough movement. He can move up there. And then for his second thing, he's going to attack. Going to attack the one that's already at 2 HP. I don't have any cards to defend with. So I am definitely, she is definitely dead. Right. And let's see, after combat, if you played this card as an attack and you won the combat, choose an opposing hero with the lowest remaining health. Deal 2 damage to the chosen hero. All right. Oof. So it knocks her down as well to 3. Well, this is going to be tight. It is back to me. Okay. So I'm going to start with an attack. I'm going to attack with this card. Okay. 4 versus 3. This is during combat if you played this card as an attack. Didn't. It was a defense. Okay. Alright, so that's 1 damage. Brings him down to 5. And after combat, move your raptor to any other space in her zone. So, where can we move her? Move her here. Maybe. Maybe that's good. 1, 2, let's see. 1, 2, 3 would get him adjacent to her again. You know what? Let's put her. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's put her here instead. All right, do that, and then we'll maneuver. Okay, so when we maneuver, I draw a card, and I can go 1, 2, 3. Oh, we'll go. Yeah, we'll go there. All right. Okay, so now it's him. He's got plenty of cards, so he's going to try to advance again. He's advancing by 6. 7, actually. Wow, okay. So let's see, how close can he get with 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He can get right next to her. So I don't know why he wouldn't. Okay, and then he's going to attack. Oh man, I don't have anything to defend with. So I am probably dead. Yep, he's attacking with 3. And that is all I have left for HP is 3. So that'll be That'll be the end of that. Okay. Wow. Well, that was interesting. Like I said, I never played with the Raptors before, so yeah, not too surprised that I lost. Well, we'll go back up and just have a quick chat about it. Okay, so that was kind of a, just demonstration of Unmatched, of the Jurassic Park set, and of the solo fan expansion. So Unmatched is a fun game. Again, you probably are already familiar with it if you're watching this. Perhaps you're mainly here to see a little bit of that solo expansion. So hopefully you got a kind of an idea of how it works. Basically, there's just sort of a flow chart that tells you how he uses his actions each turn. And then he has that deck of cards that he uses for his attack and defense. And that's basically it. There is 2 different modes that you can play in. They have normal and hard, and each of those modes basically just changes up the composition of the deck a little bit. And then they also have a what they call special cards. They have 3 special cards for each of the different characters in the game. And so you can, if you want, mix those 3 special cards for your character into the villain deck. And so that kind of tailors the villain a little bit more specifically to fight your character. All right, so you can ramp up the difficulty that way if you want as well. So I've been playing on the hard mode, but not using those special character cards. So to me, that's kind of like a medium difficulty, because the absolute most difficult would be playing on hard mode with those special character cards. And I'm not doing that. I'm not using the special character cards, but I am playing on hard mode. So, yeah, so it's pretty fun. I feel like the kind of the AI is really good. You know, in that it's like it's interesting. It's pretty dynamic. You know, it's not super straightforward. It's not like he's always just chasing you down and attacking. Like he'll kind of adjust to what's going on. If you attack him a lot and he has to defend a lot, which means it depletes his hand, then he'll start to like retreat. You know, he'll fall back so he can build up his hand again. And then once he's built up his hand, he'll run back in to attack again. So that's kind of interesting, you know. It is, you can predict exactly what his movements are going to be. So you probably saw a couple of times during the play that I took advantage of that in order to kind of set up little traps where he'd be adjacent to two of my fighters at the same time, kind of thing. So there is that, which you know, you might feel like gives the human player a bit of an unfair advantage, but I think that the design of the AI and his deck and everything already is weighting things in his favor. So I don't see that as a big deal. It's just kind of another part of the puzzle when it comes to figuring out how to defeat the AI. I like that, you know, again, there's variable ways to adjust the difficulty. Like I said, there's the normal and hard. There's those special cards, but also, so you have like this basic villain stat card that you always use. And then you have these kind of like descriptor cards, right? So in this particular case, I was using this card, the supportive, right? So that has a special ability that affects the villain for the whole game. And then you have and big, so he's the supportive and big. So that gives him two different special abilities. And there's 3 of these cards and 4 of these cards. So you use one of each, and you can kind of mix them, you know, mix and match to your liking, or you can just shuffle and deal. So that allows you to sort of adjust the difficulty. Because, like, for example, this one in big gives them extra HP. Maybe with your particular character that you're playing, they just deal out a bunch of damage, you know, like they hit really hard. And so if you make your character, you know, make the villain big so he has that extra HP, then he'll be a better match against that character, for example, right? So there's ways that you can kind of tweak the difficulty in that way if you like. So that's pretty cool. I like it. The flowchart is takes a little getting used to, you know, to learn how the enemy works, what actions they'll take under what circumstances. But I would say that, you know, I've played it, like I said, about half a dozen times, and now I can pretty much intuitively know what he's going to do on any given turn based on the circumstances. So I like that. It's, you know, it takes a little bit to learn, but it's pretty straightforward and it makes sense. So it's not that hard to wrap your head around. I do wish that they had provided, you know, maybe like in the rules booklet, just like a 1-page summary of kind of the villain's flowchart for how they use their actions. That would have been nice. But it's something you could make yourself. I'll probably make one up for myself at some point. Anyhow, that was Unmatched, the Jurassic Park set, and the fan expansion, which I should probably mention is by Brennan Smith. Again, I'll put a link in the description to where you can find this online if you want to check it out yourself. Again, my name is Nathan. This is Nice at Dice. Thank you so much for watching, and you enjoy the rest of your day.